Hi, I'm Dr. Emma from Simple Physical Literacy. If you're new to retain primitive reflexes, please subscribe to the channel by clicking on the button below and get some background information by watching the retained primitive reflex video. Today we have the Moro Reflex in a nutshell. The Moro Reflex is the first reflex to emerge in utero and should be suppressed or integrated when a baby is about 3 months. We know that primitive reflexes are there for an infant's survival. So if when a baby is born, they don't naturally take their first breath, by stimulating them, you will elicit a Moro response. And that's what rubbing the baby or patting them on the bottom is for. They flail their arms and legs wide. The arms and legs come back over the body in a protective mechanism, accompanied by a sharp intake of breath, and it activates the breathing centres. The Moro responds to any of the senses. So a sudden light, a sudden noise, a sudden smell like smoke, taste, touch to pain or temperature, a sudden loss of balance, a change in the vestibular or proprioceptive will elicit the Moro response. And in a doctor or nurse's office, they do check for the Moro by pulling a little tiny baby aged 6 weeks up, get their head to drop below the level of their spine, and when they drop them, the arms and legs flail out and they take the intake of breath. But they don't check to see has the Moro gone away or has it been suppressed or integrated. Why not? Because actually a retained Moro reflex has a big impact on a child. The Moro kids are overreactive, oversensitive, become overwhelmed easily, overloaded, overwrought, over everything. This fight or flight response fires off the amygdala, cortisol and adrenaline spike. And if these children are in a constant state of this they can have asthma, allergies, adrenal fatigue, anything that accompanies these shoot up in stress hormones. In a classroom setting, you can spot a Moro kid. Every noise, every sound, every bird that flies past, every light, everything just stimulates the child. They're scanning for danger all the time. And in the jungle, scanning for danger was good. But in a classroom, when a child has been asked to focus, it becomes a problem. The noise at the back of the classroom, the pencil drops, the smell of somebody's soup wafting by, a chompy neighbour eating their lunch, their uniform is too itchy, and the fluorescent lights, that tiny flicker and the tiny hum of the fluorescent lights can have a real impact on Moro kids. Same with blue light. They seem to be particularly sensitive to blue light, and all screens are backlit with blue light. So it's one to watch children with this retained Moro reflex and screen time. They have a difficulty filtering out all the peripheral stimuli that's going on. So they can often be labelled as ADHD, but they're not attention deficit. They're hyper attentive. It's this scanning. They don't like to go upside down. They don't often like to engage in playground games because they become overwhelmed very easily. So life can be quite difficult for them. How can we help? The Moro exercises are easy to do, and they're the first ones that should be done if you're thinking about doing any primitive reflex exercises. The Moro reflex actually happens when the contralateral right arm, left leg goes above. So the exercise to integrate it is when the child will lie backwards and slowly they'll come up and put right and right above. They'll open like a starfish, come up and put left and left above, left arm and left leg. Each round should take about 7 seconds. It would be really useful if a child did that 10 times, 10 rounds, 3 times a day, and you would see huge improvements if a child were to commit to that much. Going upside down on a trapeze, going over the side of a couch as well, will really help to integrate the Moro reflex too, and you'll see huge improvements in your child if you really commit to doing these exercises. In the meantime, go to www.simplephysicalliteracy.com for more information. Register for the home program, which will give you all the exercises to integrate the reflexes, and keep moving and keep well.